What is up guys, Mrwhosetheboss here. This is my full review of the Aiwatch A8 Plus. So at just over $70, this thing is not exactly in the super budget part of the market. It basically sits on top of devices that cost around $30. There's quite a few Chinese smartwatches that fit into that bracket, but obviously this is significantly cheaper than something like the Apple Watch. For the price, it's built extremely well. It feels basically just as good as the Apple equivalent. It's got metal around the face of the device and then a leatherette kind of plastic that goes on the bands, and it fits very comfortably in place. On top of that, the actual band is very strong, and to be honest, in terms of build, there's very little place to fault the device. It's very nice indeed. Upon turning on the display, you'll be greeted by a 240 by 240 resolution display. Viewing angles are sort of average at best, colours are not exactly popping, and the resolution isn't brilliant, but it will suffice. So the interface is quite nice, I have to say. It looks kind of Apple-esque, but obviously they're failing at some points. So we have quite a few built-in tools, such as quick contacts, calendar, radio, FM, and then we've actually got like a kind of app drawer equivalent, which you can tell is trying to copy Apple, but is not really working. Having said that though, you can tell there's actually a lot of different apps on here. It's actually got a fair few features going for it. Starting with the camera, it's pretty poor. I mean, the image quality it produces is bad, and it just looks even worse on this poor display. We've got a dialer, which is pretty easy to use, but I have to say the numbers feel a little bit small and occasionally you do mistype. And to be honest, it's pretty much the same story with the calculator, the calendar, and every other built-in app on here. While they are obviously useful apps, they're things that convenience you. You don't need to take out your phone to do these things, and these are quite complex tasks, some of them, being able to sort of organize your day and that kind of thing. However, the thing is, these just feel like they're built for larger devices and not really optimized for a mobile display of this size and resolution. For example, it's trying to throw a full keyboard in your face, and I mean, typing on this thing is ridiculous. It's very, very slow and cumbersome, and you make so many mistakes, it's barely worth it. The speaker on here is surprisingly loud and actually quite nice to listen to, and you can control both local music and also music stored on your phone. Though obviously a little bit tinny and only producing a mono sound, considering this is a watch, it's actually quite a decent speaker. I was fairly impressed. So you can see we actually have some really interesting looking apps, but to be honest, I was really quite disappointed that a lot of them, it just says that they're currently not available, whether they're going to be provided in an update, or I don't really know, to be honest. They were very unresponsive on the subject, so I don't really know what's going on here. And all I can really say is that the main functions work fine, but all the added functionality is sort of here or there. Battery is a 350 mAh, which sounds disastrous, but is actually going to last you about a day and a half on average. Overall, in terms of features, it's a mixed bag, but generally doesn't quite live up to expectation. So in terms of performance, given its ultra low power internals, this thing is actually a pretty nippy. I mean, I would put this down to a combination of it running a very light operating system and having an extremely low screen resolution, so not too taxing on the CPU and GPU. So I mean, because of the simplicity of the operating system, there's no complex animations or anything, it just works. So I mean, you click on something, it'll open instantly, and you scroll through, it'll scroll through. The screen is capacitive, so it's not like you have to push too hard or anything, but then again, it's hardly a high-end premium experience. So to sum up, the Aiwatch A8 Plus is quite an interesting product. It has the build quality of something a lot better than what it actually is. Having said that, we must consider that even though it does cost more than some of the cheaper Chinese watches, it is still quite a budget-oriented device, so it actually offers a fair amount of bang for your buck in terms of features provided. Having said that, there's a lot that don't work, and you're not getting the sort of apps or the features or the services provided by something like the Apple Watch. It's not exactly like a fully fledged ecosystem here, it's just something which kind of works and does stuff on your phone, if you know what I mean. Some of the features they've tried to cram in just feel like they're out of place on this device, and overall I think you can do better for the money.